Good evening, everybody. It's so wonderful to see so many of you have come tonight. So on behalf of the presentation community on Presentation Road, and on behalf of our three school communities, the community of Presentation Secondary School, Scoil Creasa agus Scoil Vrida, I extend a very warm welcome to all of you to St. Joseph's. I have a special welcome for our congregational leader, Sister Mary Dean, our provincial leader, Sister Margarita Ryan, our leader from Newfoundland, Sister Sharon Fagan, and all the sisters from Newfoundland and from Kilkenny. And to all the presentation sisters, so many of you who have come across from many parts of Ireland today. I welcome Father Downey, Father Larkin, Father Eugene McCarthy, and any others who may have joined us from the city. I welcome all of you, friends of Nano, friends of Presentation, who have accepted our invitation to be with us here tonight. And from our experience last night, I think I can promise you a very enjoyable experience. So sit back and relax as the children from the primary schools, the secondary schools, and some of their teachers present a wonderful story of Nano Nagel here.
Today, 31st of October 2013, during a private audience with Cardinal Angelo Amato, Prefect of the Congregation for the Causes of Saints, Pope Francis authorised the congregation to proclaim the following decree.
For heroic virtue, servant of God, Honora Nano Nagel, Irish foundress of the Sisters of the Presentation of the Blessed Virgin Mary, 1718 to 1784, is declared venerable.
And Presentation sisters worldwide rejoiced at the wonderful news that their foundress, Nano Nagel, had been declared venerable by Pope Francis. Nano Nagel was born in 1718 in a place called Ballygriffin near Mallow in County Cork to Gareth and Anne Nagel. Anne and Gareth were besotted with their new baby, their first.
Store, be queuing. Papa's asleep and we mustn't wake him. He works so hard.
I'm Sean.
Oh, Gareth, did we wake you?
That's come on. This is a spirit little one. And she's so beautiful, aren't you, Thor?
Gareth, go back to sleep. It's early yet.
I sure am up now. I might as well make a start to the lower field down by the river. The sun is already climbing over the mountains.
Have something to eat before you go.
Now, you be good for your mother, Akushla.
Gareth, we must decide soon what we're going to call your spirited little girl. She must be christened.
We will, but we'll have to take her when it's safe.
Father Matthew will be at the Mass Rock. We can take her then.
Nano.
Nano?
We'll call her Nano.
Nano. Nano. I like it, Gareth.
We'll have her baptised near a hog and Father Matthew.
So long, Gareth.
Slán Pommel.
And Anish Nano, it is time for you to go back to sleep.
Gareth and Anne couldn't have a public celebration like we have nowadays because the Ireland of that time was completely different from the Ireland of today.
It was a cruel place then. The people loved their faith, but they were forbidden to practice it. Catholics didn't have any freedom. Watch as the Nagels and their neighbours make their way to the Mass Rock for Nano's christening. They have to creep through the shadows in the dark of night to avoid being caught by the redcoat soldiers. What a daring, dangerous thing to do. But that was the kind of Ireland they were living in. It was an Ireland where priests were hunted for teaching God's word, and they had to go around in disguise. There were many, many cruel laws, all aimed at keeping Catholics poor and deprived.
No mass rocks. Catholics cannot lease land for more than 31 years. What about our sons? It's me that been on that piece of top of the wall. Catholics cannot own a good horse. Not a good horse if you knock down an ass. Catholics cannot own a gun. No guns, no guns. I'm Christian. No guns. How are we surviving making guns for food? Catholics cannot have good schools. How will we educate our children without good schools? Catholics cannot go to mass or sacraments. Oh, yeah. You there! No praying, no religion! Catholics cannot own good houses! Good houses, he said. Have you seen our house? We can't afford good houses. We can't afford good houses! Fine, you know! You Catholics all have to use change. You can have everything. But can we have free change? You can have land and horses and good positions, things. No, never! We will never change. No, we will change. No, we won't.
It was an Ireland with no Catholic churches, only caves in the hillsides and rocks for altars. It was a sad place.
The Nagels were luckier than most Catholics. They had a Protestant cousin called Edward Burke, and he was able to get a long lease on their land for them, so they were able to keep most of their riches.
Gareth and Anne went on to have 6 more children. 4 girls, Mary, Anne, Catherine and Elizabeth, and 2 boys, David and Joseph.
They were all younger than Nano, and as they grew up they attended the hedge school, because that was the only school available.
Nano! Where is that girl? And what mischief could she be up to? Nano, do not jump off that horse while he is galloping! Nano! Oh, that girl.
Oh, there you are, Anne. I met the schoolmaster over at the rooms. I gave him the shilling.
Astronomy Castle.
Shastor. I think that should cover their tuition to June.
But Gareth, Nano needs to move on from the hedge school now. She's wild, I'm telling you, wild. And she's not concentrating on any of her studies. I saw her climbing the trees again the other day.
I know, Anne.
And last week she went out on the river with her brothers, jumped off the boat, swam to the bank, and brought a black mare back to the house. Come, Gareth, and just look at her. She's wild, I'm telling you.
I would leave her alone. She's a wild clown. God bless her. Sure, 'tis the task of you. Do you know what, Anne?
Watch, Gareth.
She could turn out to be a saint yet.
A saint indeed, from racing in the fields, paddling in the Blackwater River, and being as wild as a goat on Nagle Mountains.
And she's a spirited Colleen, but she's our spirited Colleen, and she's gorgeous.
Seriously, Garrett, you're going to have to send a dispatch to your cousins in France.
And?
And see if they can get her into a convent school in Paris. The nuns at Kumajay will be able to tame her.
We'll see. Come, Anne, leave that for now. We'll go for a walk down by the river.
Okay, Garrett. You know what?
Yeah.
I think a convent school would be great for Nano.
Could be.
But it was a crime to send a Catholic girl to be educated, so Garrett had to smuggle Nano to the quays of Cork in the middle of the night and hand her over to the crew of a cargo ship so that she might make her way to France.
Nano was alone and lonely in the strange land of France. She couldn't understand the language.
Entrez! Ah, bonjour Nano. Comment allez-vous?
Come on. Oh, it is all so strange, madame. I just can't understand it. You all sound so different.
Oh, petit Nano, little Nano. Every day you come to me, I teach you to speak the French.
Mais, madame, I just can't understand. It's so hard, so difficult.
Oh, shh, Nano, écoutez. Just listen. Comment allez-vous? Comment allez-vous? Maintenant, Nano, répétez. Just repeat for me.
Comment allez-vous?
Ah, très bien, Nano. Vous êtes très bien. Very good. You see, every day you get better and better. Now, we count. Écoutez. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Très bien, Nano. That is very good. You get better and better every day. Maintenant, Nano, that is enough work for today. Allez avec moi. We shall walk dans le jardin.
What?
Dans le jardin? In the garden?
Dans le jardin.
Très bien. It's such a beautiful day. Come.
Oui, madame. Your favorite urgent to eat.
You see, Nano, every day you get better and better.
Nano soon mastered the language. She grew up to be a charming, lively young lady. She made many friends and was popular wherever she went.
Soon she was joined by her sister Anne. Their father gave them lots of money and they were able to buy beautiful clothes. They attended every important social event and very often they danced the night away at glittering balls.
Monsieur and Madame, ladies and gentlemen, tonight it gives me great pleasure to present to you Mademoiselle Nano Nagel. Nano has come to us all the way from Ireland, and she has been studying here for many years, several years. You are very welcome.
Merci, monsieur.
And tonight, Nano is being accompanied by her most delightful younger sister, Mademoiselle Anne Nagel. You are very welcome.
Merci, monsieur.
We hope you have an enjoyable evening.
Merci, monsieur.
Voulez-vous danser?
Enchanté, monsieur.
They were the toast of Paris, and yet deep in her heart, Nano wasn't truly happy.
As dawn approached, the ball came to an end, and those attending began to make their way home. It was a freezing cold morning, so they moved quickly to the warm shelter of their comfortable homes. They were not the only people on the street. A group of poor people had made their way to nearby St. Ignatius Church. They stood outside shivering in the cold, waiting for the doors to open. As Nano and Anne are making their way home, they become aware of them.
Oh, look at those people, Anne. Waiting out here on the freezing winter morning. Why, it's hardly even daybreak. And yet here they are. And look, even the little children.
I see them. Look at that little girl. She has no coat on this freezing winter morning.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, mademoiselle.
Il fait très froid. Pourquoi vous attendez ici? Why are you all waiting here?
Oui, il fait froid, mais mademoiselle. We are waiting for the church doors to open before we go to early morning mass. Maman! Voila! The church doors are open. We can go in now. Au revoir, mademoiselle.
Au revoir. The poor must love Mass to suffer like that on this freezing winter morning.
And look at us going home to warmth and comfort. Where is that carriage?
Oh, the poor love their faith. And me. I only value pleasure. Yes, God draws us all to himself, rich and poor alike. Why do these thoughts keep haunting me? All of a sudden, then, I can see the emptiness of my life. There must be more to life than this. Of your love is my searching and seeking in vain. Where can I discover the beauty of your word? In the silence I call out your name. I will search in the silence for your hiding place. In a quiet void I seek your face. Where can I find shelter to shield me from the storm? To find comfort though dark be the night. For I know that my welfare is ever in your sight. In the shadows, I long for your light.
But Nano didn't change overnight. She was to spend 6 more years in Paris. And then something happened that jolted her. Her dear father Gallet died. David inherited her home in Ballygriffin. Her mother bought a house in Dublin and went to live there.
Shock for Nano and Anne. Absolute shock. Her father dead, her mother in Dublin, they had to come home. Nano and Anne pack up. They leave Paris and go to live in their mother's place in Dublin.
We are coming home, Mommy. Can I take a chocolate? We are leaving Paris today and will arrive in Dublin on the 15th. Bra, Nano. Well, today's the 15th. Today is the day. They'll be here soon. Shh. What's that? The horses. The carriage. Anne! Nano! Oh, Mom! How sad it is for you. Nano and I are home now. We'll stay with you for a while. Lucas the Gia, Russia. Thank God you're here with me now, my dears. I miss your father so much. And the majestic Blackwater and the beautiful Nagle Mountains. But life must go on, and here I am, looking out on the hustle and bustle of this busy Dublin street. Come, bring your things. If I come with tea later, and you can tell me all about Paris. But first you must rest. You both must be very tired after your long journey. Yeah, but we're laughing. Oh, come, my dears, it's so good to have you home. So, Anne, tell me about Paris. Oh, now we shall see the dresses.
And so the ladies began to settle into Dublin life. We must remember that the penal laws were still in force, and Dublin was teeming with poor, destitute people. Nano's sister Anne was shocked, and she helped as much as she could.
Anne? 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 We know. I have you received my roll of silk I brought home from France. I'm going to make myself the roll of silk. I hope you won't be mad now. I sold the roll of silk by
were more shocks in store for Nano, desperate shocks. Her beloved sister Anne became ill and died. Nano tried to rally her spirits and go on, but another awful sorrow soon followed. Her mother died. Nano was heartbroken. She was all alone in Dublin. There was nobody who could ease the pain of her grief. Nano had to leave Dublin and return to her birthplace in Ballygriffin to live with her brother David.
David?
Nano. Oh, welcome home to Ballygriffin.
It's good to be back. If only Henry here with me.
I know, Nano. You know I'm relieved to see you, sir. How was your journey?
Not bad. Oh, David, you should have seen the crowds of children fighting outside the city walls of Cork.
Well, there are no schools and there's no discipline. And the people are hungry as well.
Nothing has changed then, David. There is nothing but ignorance, poverty, and depression. There are no schools, no maths, no jobs, no good land. And those poor children. Only I could teach them.
Are you mad? Do you want the penal laws to destroy us all?
Remember the law.
Do not defy the law. Defy the law. It will be torture for you. Defy the law. Defy the law. Your family will lose everything. You defy the law. It will be torture, prison, and even death. We are rebels.
We have all the law.
What will you do now that you're home? What will you do with all your education?
What can I do, David? I can't teach them to read, write, or even pray. So I have made my decision. I will stay for a little while. Then I will go back to France. I'll join a convent and pray for them there.
And will that make you happy now?
Yes, I think it will, David. So, I will make the arrangements and leave as soon as possible. I'll just go and unpack now, David.
Well, it's your old room at the back of the house.
Thank you.
We'll miss you now.
And so, Nano sets out for France, and she becomes a nun in a French convent. This time, she believes she has left Ballygriffin for good. But day and night, she is haunted by the thoughts of the poor, neglected, deprived children in Ireland. Sleepless nights and hours of silent tears become the pattern of her life. Like St. Patrick, she is being called back.
In her dreams, she hears the voices of the Irish children. She tries to settle into life at her convent, but night after night she is haunted by these dreams. Finally, she acknowledges the fact that she must face the challenge of coming back to Ireland to help the children.
I had this dream, night and day. God is calling me back. He wants me to come back. I can't refuse to answer this call. I must follow my dream. He will help me cope through anything, because I have this dream. To wait for me across the street. I have a dream. I have a dream, a fantasy to help me through reality. And my destination makes it worth the while, pushing through the darkness, still another mile. I believe in angels, something good in everything I see. I believe in angels when I know the time is right for me across the street. I have a dream.
This time, Nano didn't return to Ballygriffin. Instead, she returned to the home of her other brother, Joseph. He lived in Cork City, in a place called Cove Lane. Nano wrote to her brother, telling him of her decision to return to Cork.
Having arrived in Cork, Nano was welcomed by Joseph and his wife Frances at Cove Lane. But she is worried. She reads again the letter Joseph sent to her in France.
Nano Store. We are looking forward to your return to Cork. You'll be very welcome here at Cove Lane. You can stay with us for as long as you wish. It'd be great to see you again. You asked me in your letters how things are in Ireland, Nano. They haven't changed since you were last home. They're bad times. We wouldn't want to draw the attention of the authorities to us in any way. The only way here to survive is to lie low. It's a very bad situation, I'm afraid. We will be there to meet you in Cork when you arrive. Your loving brother, Joseph.
Now, Nano had a big problem. She was torn between loyalty to her brother and devoting herself to the work she knew she must do. She had to make a decision.
I'll just have to work in secret. I can't tell Joseph. I can't expose him to the penalties of the law. But those poor children. I must find a way.
day she steals from hovel to hovel and from street to street, and she gains the confidence of these poor, wretched urchins. Finally, she finds a small, dark hut with mud walls and mud floors, and this becomes her first school.
Small and dark.
Tis cheap now.
It's a start. I'll take it.
Oh, girl, not good, Miss Nagle.
Moira, go and tell the other children we have a school.
Good look at it, Miss Nagle. You're a good woman.
No, be a bird, children. We have plenty of room for everyone. We can have different classes at different times. Today, we will start with the little ones. Call the sandwich.
It's Misha Moira.
August Tussa.
It's Misha Breach.
Marifod. And Misha Foshly. Today, we will learn how to count. A hay. A do. A tree. Cahir. A cúig. A shape. Shock. Up. A knee. Agus je. On Marfan. You're very good children. Cainiver. On what? Agus. On what? Very good children. Now, we will say our prayer and you may send in the next group.
Nano school spread like wildfire among the poor. One day, a father met Nano's brother Joseph and asked him how he'd go about enrolling his child in Nano school. Joseph was puzzled, and when he got home, he spoke to Nano.
The strangest thing happened to me today, Nano. A man begged me to get his child into your school. Your school! What a mistake to make. What was he thinking of? You don't have a school, and you don't teach.
I do teach children, Joseph.
What?
I do teach. I've been teaching classes in the hut near the Mass House in Cove Lane. I've been teaching children there for months now.
Are you mad? Are you gone completely out of your mind? Don't you know what the redcoats will do if they find out about you? Didn't you hear what they did to the priest that captured the girl below in Carlo? Did you hear that story? Do you know about that?
Yes,
If
Joseph.
they find out about this, we'll all be ruined.
Yes, Joseph, I've heard the stories. But I'm prepared to suffer.
You are prepared to suffer? Do you know what you're saying? Oh, and I suppose you heard about what they did to the teacher they caught. Did you hear that story too? Are you prepared to take that chance, Nano?
Yes, Joseph, I am prepared to take the chance. I am doing God's work and I pray the Lord He will help me. I'm sorry, Joseph, but I promise I won't get you or Francis dragged into it. I promise I won't. Look, I have to go. Sorry, Joseph. I just have to go.
Her hut school flourished. By taking them in different groups at different times, she soon had 200 little ones under instruction. Delighted parents whispered the good news from door to door until word reached the north side of the city. Here she rented another hut in what is now called Philpot Curran Lane.
Nano now had to divide her time between her two schools, and as she got to know the children, she realised how poor they really were. So at night she went around from hovel to hovel and tried to bring them some of the necessities of life. There wasn't a garret, attic or hovel in Cork she didn't know, and to her beloved poor she became known as the Lady of the Lamp.
In a short time, she had 7 schools. They were just bare rooms, no chairs, tables, books or fires. The children sat on mud floors and listened. But even poor schools cost money, and soon she had no money left.
And so Nano decided, as she says herself, to go out early up to the north side of the city and beg. She experienced what it was like to be poor. She was insulted. She was called names.
Mum, please, spare a copper for charity.
If you want money, go and work for it. She's that old beggar again. She's always around here. Go with her. She wants money for her schools for brats. So she rented. Sure, all your good. Although, I hear she's teaching how to read. And mommy how to write. So,
just get out. You're not getting so much as another farthing. Off you go, grad Latinish, and just get out. These beggar these days.
It was that old lady. Do you know, I have a feeling I know her.
It's just some old beggar, sir. I turned her away, sir. But as you can see, she's still sitting over there.
That's not an old beggar. Old beggar indeed. Fion Cartogam. I do know her. You shouldn't have put her out. That's Miss Nagle. Miss Carol Lumley. God's beggar, you could call her.
But, sir, she was begging. I thought she was...
Miss Nagle, I am shocked to see you like this. So tired and worn out. What's happened to you?
Sir, I have no money left for my schools, so I must beg.
Oh, Miss Nagle, listen, I am sorry for the way my assistant has treated you. You must let me help you. I appreciate the great work that you are doing for the poor children of this city. Here, take this. Please accept this donation.
Thank you, sir. You're very kind.
You're very welcome.
Sir,
Yes?
I will cherish the name of God's beggar.
To you, lad, Miss Nagle. God bless you.
Oh, fortune. I wonder, what is the best way to spend all this money? I know. I will need help with my work. I'm tired, and my feet are so sore. I will send to France. I will send for some of the Ursuline sisters to come and help me. This money will buy them a house, and they can set up their own convent in Cork.
Help came from another source too. She had an uncle, also called Joseph, and on hearing of her plight, he also gave her money. The nuns came, but soon Nano realised that they couldn't help her with the kind of work that she was doing. They couldn't go out to the hut schools or go out to visit the poor. You see, they were an enclosed order.
all these winter rains and this persistent cough. It's taken their toll.
But Nano, you have never complained before. You're always so cheerful and thoughtful.
Oh, but we need people. People who are free to go out and do the kind of work that we do. Like teaching in the schools and going out at night to visit the sick and the poor.
But how now? Where do we get such people?
I have decided to found a congregation of my own.
What a lovely idea! We will help you, Nano, to teach the children to read, write, and sew. We will visit the sick and the poor with you.
But have you asked the Abbey's advice?
Yes, I have, Elizabeth. I told him that if I couldn't find my congregation here, I would go elsewhere.
Wow, Nano, wow. You are so brave. And what did he say?
Bet he wasn't too pleased to hear you might go elsewhere.
Well, he said that we mustn't leave Cork, and that he said what could be done.
And so Nano's idea was accepted, and on Christmas Eve, 1775, Nano and her 3 companions, Mary Collins, Elizabeth Burke, and Mary Foohey, founded their congregation under the protection of the Sacred Heart.
You must love one another and look out for one another. You must spread love and care wherever you go. Because, sisters, love is the most wonderful gift we can give. Love has the power to change everything.
On the 24th of June, 1777, Nano and her 3 companions pronounced their vows.
I, Mary Collins.
I, Nano Nagle.
I, Elizabeth Burke. I, Mary Foohey.
Do vow and promise to God poverty, chastity, and obedience until death.
Sing hallelujah to the sing hallelujah to the sing hallelujah to the sing hallelujah sing hallelujah to the Lord. Sing hallelujah to the sing hallelujah to the sing hallelujah to the sing hallelujah sing hallelujah to the Lord.
Nano took the name Sister Mary John of God, and her congregation at first was called Sisters of Charitable Instruction of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Nano's cottage in Cove Lane was their first convent, and because of the penal laws, Nano never wore the religious habit. Later, another convent was established on the north side of the city. In 1778, Teresa Mullally, one of Nano's friends, heard of her great work, and the first Dublin convent was founded at George's Hill, in the middle of Dublin city.
Nano only lived for 9 years after founding her order. She worked tirelessly for the poor. Night and day, she could be seen trudging through the hills and lanes of Cork City. Before she retired each day, she spent hours kneeling, praying before the altar, even though her knees were very sore. Her relentless dedication to her work was a source of great concern to her sisters.
Nano's stressed in a bad way. Her cough is getting worse, despite the medication. And you know something? I even saw her leaning against the wall the other day, trying to regain her breath. And still, she goes out night after night with her lantern. After spending all her days in the schools with the children, she never rests.
Have you seen her poor feet? They're bruised and sore from the constant walking.
I worry about her.
I know, Mary, but there's literally little we can do about it. Shh! Was that a knock?
Oh, Nano.
She collapsed in the city, ma'am, and she can barely walk. As you can see, she's wet all through. It's been raining heavily all day.
Thank you for helping me home.
Is there anything else I can do to help?
No, thank you for helping her home.
I'll leave the lantern over there when...
Oh yes, please do. Thank you again. Oh, and bless you.
Oh, Nano, look at you. You're tired out. And you're soaking wet.
Why, Nano? Why must you have this dreadful weather?
I'm dying, sisters. Oh, Mary, don't weep. My time has come, and the Lord is calling me home. You're all my very special friends. You've given me everything. You've given your all. When I go, you must love one another and look out for one another. You must spend yourselves for the poor. And sisters, children, look after the children.
Don't speak anymore, dear Nano. You are exhausted. Come, sisters, come and help me to get Nano to her bed.
Quick, Mary.
Today, Monday, the 26th of April, 1784, our dear sister Nano departed this life in our loving care.
Go forth in peace to heaven your home.
Nano watched over her sisters and her children. Her congregation flourished, spreading to all parts of Ireland.
In 1791, the status of the congregation was changed to a religious order with solemn vows. It was in 1791 also that their new name became Sisters of the Presentation of the Blessed Virgin.
In 1802, the text of the new rule of the congregation was approved by Rome, and in 1805, Pope Pius VII issued the decree of approval for Nano Nagel's presentation order.
Today, the daughters of Nano Nagle bring the message of Christ and his love to the children of the world in all 5 continents. The dream of this dauntless woman of God has come true.
Lanes her hand touched were cured of hopelessness.
Her skirt was mother skirt that cuddled crowds.
Her lamp swung on doorway to happiness that showed the way to light was light the way.
Longing to fly. I'm just speechless, actually, because like the other principals, we were just saying, yes, you can go out to practice, but we didn't quite know what was going on. So that was an absolutely wonderful experience for me. I don't know about everybody else in the audience, but I think they deserve another clap. 200 years after they arrived in Galway, coming from Cork, we have a community of the presentation family, I suppose. That's 3 schools, 3 sets of students, 3 sets of teachers, 3 sets of families associated with each of those people, and a fantastic family and friends of presentation that have collaborated on this magnificent bit of work. It was a world premiere. I don't know whether you know that, do you? Tonight was a world premiere of this particular pageant that was written specially for, in commemoration, I suppose, of Nano Nagle in her footsteps, but it was after the fact that she was made venerable last year. So I am, I suppose, just speechless again. I'd like to thank a number of different people. In particular, I'd like to thank Tessa Tiernan and her fantastic team that you don't see here, but they've been working behind the scenes. Every single detail of this was absolutely unbelievable. So thank you, and give them a round of applause. And as you're clapping there, I think that those girls and boys that are involved deserve double claps. The fantastic singers, the wonderful red coat, to our musicians over here as well in the audience over here, and to these wonderful singers and flute players. So the message of Nano Nagle is alive and well in the year 2015. Well done to everybody, and thank you again for the most enjoyable hour that I've had in a very long time. So well done. Before I leave, I would just like to compliment Father Downey and thank him very much for letting us take over the church for all of these last number of weeks and for allowing us to modify his altar. Okay, so thank you, Father Downey, as well.